I've been practicing medicine long enough to see the same pattern repeat itself in my older patients. They come in believing they're doing all the right things, swallowing their daily vitamins with confidence, only to find out months or years later that those same pills were quietly working against them. The labels promised protection. The advertisements talked about vitality and prevention. And yet, behind those friendly capsules, there's often a reality no one bothers to mention. Some vitamins, especially in the wrong form or at the wrong dose, can slowly chip away at bone density, strain the heart, irritate the kidneys, or cloud the mind. The effects don't always hit all at once. They creep in quietly, like a slow leak you don't notice until there's a puddle on the floor. One of the most overlooked culprits is high-dose vitamin A in its synthetic, pre-formed form. This isn't the vitamin A that naturally occurs in carrots or sweet potatoes, which the body can convert safely when it needs to. I'm talking about retinyl palmitate, retinol acetate, and similar forms you often see listed in the ingredients of multivitamins, especially those marketed for eye health or immune support. The trouble is that your body doesn't have an off switch for pre-formed vitamin A from supplements. It stores the excess, and over time that storage can turn toxic. Too much of it can make bones fragile, dangerously so. I've seen women in their 70s come in with hip fractures from falls they could have walked away from 20 years earlier, only to find their daily bone support supplement was part of the problem. High levels of synthetic vitamin A don't just accelerate bone loss. They can also trigger headaches, liver strain, dizziness, and in severe cases, neurological symptoms. Many seniors take these pills believing they're guarding their vision, but the reality is that those same capsules can compromise the mobility and independence they're trying to preserve. Another supplement I often warn patients about is synthetic vitamin E. On the surface, it looks harmless, even beneficial. It's sold everywhere in soft gel form, often labeled as DL-alpha tocopherol, a laboratory-made version of the vitamin. The logic seems sound. Vitamin E is an antioxidant. Antioxidants fight oxidative stress, and oxidative stress contributes to heart disease, so why not take it daily? The problem is that the body doesn't metabolize synthetic vitamin E the same way it does the natural form. Large-scale studies have linked high doses of synthetic vitamin E to a higher risk of certain cancers, especially prostate cancer, as well as an increased risk of hemorrhagic stroke, the kind caused by bleeding in the brain. It can also interfere with vitamin K, which is vital for blood clotting, making it particularly risky for anyone already taking blood thinners. And here's something most people don't realize. By flooding your body with the synthetic form, you can actually block the absorption of other natural vitamin E compounds that help protect your lungs and colon. The very nutrient you thought was guarding your heart might be leaving you more vulnerable in other ways. For originality's sake, I want to highlight another supplement that doesn't get enough scrutiny: high-dose iron. Many older adults keep taking iron well into their later years because they once heard it was good for energy, or were told decades ago they were anemic. But our bodies change as we age. After menopause in women and in men past midlife, the need for supplemental iron drops significantly. Too much iron from pills can begin to accumulate in the body, especially in the liver, pancreas, and heart. This buildup, known as iron overload, can damage these organs over time. It can raise blood pressure, worsen joint pain, and even increase the risk of certain infections because some harmful bacteria thrive in iron-rich environments. I've seen patients in their 60s and 70s with unexplained fatigue and achy joints improve simply by discontinuing unnecessary iron supplements and letting their levels return to normal. Unless a blood test confirms a deficiency, most older adults are better off avoiding high-dose iron entirely. And then there's the crowd pleaser that almost everyone assumes is completely safe. Large doses of vitamin C, the fizzy orange tablets, the powders you stir into water, the chewables that taste like candy. They all promise immune strength, faster healing, and protection during cold season. But when you take vitamin C in excess, more than 1,000 milligrams a day for many people, it doesn't just wash out harmlessly. Your body breaks it down into oxalates, which can form kidney stones, especially if your kidney function isn't as strong as it once was. It can also upset the stomach, cause diarrhea, and in some cases interfere with the absorption of other important minerals like copper. The irony is that you don't need megadoses to get the benefits. For most older adults, 200 to 500 milligrams a day, preferably from whole foods like bell peppers, berries, and broccoli, is plenty. But marketing has convinced many to take more, thinking extra means extra protection, when in fact it can mean extra strain on an already hard-working body. These risks aren't about fear-mongering. They're about context. Our bodies in our 60s, 70s, and beyond are not the same as they were at 30. Digestion slows. Kidneys filter less efficiently. The balance between bone building and bone loss shifts. We can no longer afford to blindly throw high doses of certain nutrients at our bodies without considering how those nutrients are processed and stored. Every pill, powder, or capsule is a choice, one that can either support the body's delicate balance or quietly disrupt it. What I tell my patients is this: supplements are tools, not magic bullets. The right tool, in the right amount for the right person, can be life-changing. The wrong one, even if it's sold over the counter and wrapped in promises of health, can become a slow, silent thief of mobility, energy, and independence. When you choose your vitamins, don't just think about what you've heard they can do. Think about how they behave in an older body. Think about how they interact with your medications, your diet, and your medical history. And above all, make those choices in consultation with someone who understands both the science and your personal health picture. Because as harmless as a daily supplement may seem, the wrong one can have consequences that last far beyond the moment you swallow it. If avoiding the wrong supplements can save you years of trouble, choosing the right ones can give those years back to you in strength, energy, and clarity. I've watched patients in their 60s, 70s, and 80s add just a few carefully chosen nutrients to their daily routine, and within weeks, notice they were walking more steadily, thinking more clearly, and sleeping more soundly. These aren't quick fixes. They're foundational supports for an aging body, nutrients that most seniors don't get enough of from food alone, and that can quietly reverse some of the decline we've been told is just aging. One of the most crucial is vitamin B12. This isn't a trendy supplement, it's a lifeline. B12 plays a central role in nerve health, brain function, and red blood cell production. Without it, the messages between your brain and body slow down, your energy dwindles, and your memory begins to fray at the edges. I've had patients who thought they were developing early dementia, only to find they were simply deficient in B12. Within months of correcting the deficiency, their thinking sharpened and their energy returned. The tricky part is that as we age, our stomachs produce less acid, which means we can't extract B12 from food as efficiently as we used to. Even if you eat plenty of meat, fish, or dairy, your body might still be starving for this vitamin. That's why sublingual tablets, sprays, or even occasional injections can be so effective. They bypass the digestive system entirely and deliver B12 straight into the bloodstream. The form you want is methylcobalamin, which your body recognizes immediately. For most older adults, 500 to 1,000 micrograms a day is enough to maintain healthy levels, restore alertness, and prevent the nerve damage that can cause unsteady walking and numbness in the hands and feet. Equally important, and often overlooked, is vitamin D3. Most people know it's critical for bone health, but fewer realize how deeply it affects balance, immunity, mood, and muscle function. Low vitamin D3 levels have been linked to falls, fractures, depression, and a weakened immune response. The problem is that, as we age, our skin becomes less efficient at producing D3 from sunlight. What used to take 15 minutes of summer sun at 30 might now take hours, and even then, it might not be enough. Many of my patients are shocked when their blood tests show their levels are far below optimal, even though they spend time outdoors. Supplementing with 1,000 to 2,000 IU daily, ideally taken with a meal that contains healthy fats, can restore those levels and, over time, improve bone density, mood, and muscle coordination. I've seen patients who were afraid to walk without holding on to furniture regain the confidence to move freely again, simply by correcting a vitamin D3 deficiency. But here's where most people get it wrong. They take calcium with their vitamin D, thinking they're protecting their bones, without realizing that calcium without proper guidance can cause more harm than good. That's where vitamin K2 comes in. This little-known nutrient acts like a traffic cop for calcium, directing it away from the arteries, where it can cause dangerous calcification, and into the bones and teeth, where it's needed. Without enough K2, calcium can end up in all the wrong places, contributing to kidney stones, stiff joints, and heart problems. In older adults, especially those already taking vitamin D or calcium, K2 is a game changer. The MK7 form of K2 is the most effective because it stays in the body longer, giving it more time to do its work. Just 90 to 180 micrograms a day can significantly improve bone density while protecting your arteries and kidneys from calcium buildup. For originality, I also want to highlight magnesium, a nutrient most older adults are deficient in, and one that works hand in hand with D3 and K2. Magnesium is involved in over 300 processes in the body, from muscle relaxation to blood pressure regulation to nerve communication. Without it, muscles cramp, sleep suffers, and blood sugar control becomes more difficult. It even plays a role in mood and mental clarity. Magnesium glycinate or citrate are the forms I recommend most often, as they're well absorbed and gentle on the stomach. A daily dose of 200 to 400 milligrams taken in the evening can ease restless legs, reduce nighttime cramps, and help the body feel more at ease. Many of my patients tell me it's the first time they've slept through the night in years. Another worthy addition is omega-3 fatty acids, particularly from fish oil or algae oil. These essential fats keep cell membranes flexible, reduce inflammation throughout the body, and improve blood flow, all critical for maintaining brain health and protecting the heart. Research has shown that omega-3s can slow cognitive decline, reduce joint pain, and support healthy vision. For seniors, they're especially valuable because they address three common concerns at once: memory, mobility, and cardiovascular health. Look for a supplement that provides at least 1,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA per day, and choose one that's been tested for purity to avoid heavy metals. Taken together, these nutrients, B12, D3, K2, magnesium, and omega-3 form a kind of protective net for the aging body. They strengthen the structure, sharpen the mind, smooth the movements, and stabilize the mood. They don't promise to turn back the clock, but they can make the years ahead more vibrant and less restricted. The key is to take them consistently, in the right forms, and at the right doses for your needs. What I want you to remember is that supplements should serve you, not the other way around. The wrong ones, taken blindly, can slowly rob you of the independence you've worked so hard to maintain. The right ones, chosen with care, can help you keep doing the things that matter, whether that's walking around the block, tending your garden, or simply getting out of bed in the morning without pain. As a doctor, I've seen both outcomes. I've seen patients who relied on store-bought multivitamins filled with cheap, synthetic forms that did nothing to help them, and in some cases made things worse. And I've seen others who, once they understood their body's real needs, transformed their daily pill box into something that genuinely supported their health and vitality. At this stage of life, every choice counts a little more. The food you eat, the movements you make, and yes, the supplements you take, all add up to how well you'll live tomorrow, next year, and 5 years from now. You can't control everything, but you can control what you put into your body. And that control is powerful. It's what turns aging from something that happens to you into something you actively shape. So, before you swallow your next capsule, take a moment to ask, is this helping me? Or is it just a habit? Is it backed by real evidence or by clever marketing? And most importantly, will it still be serving me a year from now, or will I be paying a price I can't see yet? The answers to those questions could be the difference between spending your later years just getting by and spending them truly living.